2.
This is a nutrition lesson for elementary students and can be adapted to fit your state's science or health standards. The health standard taken from the Iowa Core that this lesson is based off of is that students can demonstrate behaviors that foster healthy, active lifestyles for individuals in the benefit of society. In this lesson, students will learn how to read food labels. Students will act as a detective to see if healthy labeled branding at the grocery store is actually that healthy for you. So I went to the grocery store and I shopped in the healthy aisles and the aisles that were not labeled as healthy. And I found foods that were very similar to each other. For example, this healthy choice, which was under a sign labeled healthy, and this Marie Callender's, which was in just the regular freezer section. I also found in the health market these veggie chips, and in the regular chips aisle, these Lay's potato chips, as well as 2 different types of cereal. I would suggest bringing these items into class so students can touch and really analyze the marketing used on the box. And then I would cut out the nutrition labels and post them on a PowerPoint so students can analyze them. Students will then guess which nutrition label is the healthy one and which is the... This is the health standard taken from the Iowa Core for this lesson. Students will demonstrate behaviors that foster healthy, active lifestyles for individuals in the benefit of society. For the introduction of this lesson, you'll want to show students an image of the food label, and you'll want to ask them, do you know what this is? Where have you seen it? What information do you know that this includes? Then you'll want to have a discussion with students about how food packaging oftentimes claims that foods are healthy, and when in reality, they might not be all that healthy, and how even in the grocery store, there are sections for healthy food and unhealthy food, and how those sections can even be misleading themselves. The way I chose to start this conversation was through memes about food packaging. The next thing you'll want to do is teach students how to read a food label. This information comes from the Switch program in Iowa. The first thing you'll want to talk about is the serving size and how many servings there are per container. Then you'll want to talk about calories and about how this tells us how much energy there is in each serving of food. Be sure to point out that calorie counting isn't the only way to live a nutritious lifestyle. The next thing you'll want to talk about is nutrients that we want to live in, such as saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, sodium. And then you'll want to talk about nutrients that we don't get enough of, such as fiber, protein, vitamins, calcium, and iron. Then you'll teach students how to read an ingredient list. When teaching students how to read an ingredient list, be sure to describe that some ingredients may be hidden under other words. For example, sugar can be hidden in the ingredients list under the words high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, fructose, and many other words. The first activity students will engage in is learning how to read food labels and practicing. Take foods that students are familiar with and post their label and have students practice learning how to read them. These are Takis in the Taki food label, and this is a mac and cheese food label. For the health detective game, students will analyze 2 food labels. One is from a package that's labeled as healthy, and then another from a package that's labeled as unhealthy. Students will compare these food labels to try and find which one is the healthy and which is the unhealthy version. These are cereal, these are chips, and these are frozen meals. Afterwards, have a discussion about how the food packaging can be misleading and that you really need to look at the food label to find what's truly healthy for you. For conclusion, students will discuss what they learned. Ask students, what information can you find on a food label? Why is reading the food label so important when picking out food at the grocery store? At the end of this lesson, you can give students a certificate that says Certified Food Detective. Remember to make this lesson fun for students. and to not pay too close of attention to calorie counting. For example, it's okay to eat chips, but you'll want to pay attention to the serving size. You don't want to eat a whole bag. This lesson is meant to be informative for students and fun. Hope you enjoy this lesson with your students.